Hello, my name is Mitchell Shipman, and I am designer of Find Your Seats, my entry into the Button Shy Wallet Game 2016 competition. In this video, I'd like to give a brief overview of the game, as well as show you how to play. Please also note that throughout this video, I'm going to be using prototype art that I've used just for development. In Find Your Seats, players take the role of party planners having a terrible day. They've completely misplaced their seating plan. Each player will start with a hand of cards representing dinner guests and, over the course of 3 rounds, draft what they believe to be the best group of guests to sit next to each other. Players score points based on the seating arrangement of their guests. The player with the most points in a round wins the round. The player with the most round wins will win the game. Every character in Find Your Seats has a few key properties. A color in the top left that represents their relative age, their name, their gender, conversation topics, and an ability. Each ability is different for each character. Find Your Seats is a drafting game, meaning that before any cards are played, there is a round in which you and your opponents each take turns selecting one card from their current hand and passing it to the next player. Until you can no longer do so. Once players have their hand of cards after the drafting round, they each take turns playing, one at a time, 3 of their characters. It is possible over the course of play that some characters will be turned face down. This is considered leaving the table and they will not be used in scoring. The pastor is one of these characters that can turn another face down. At the end of a round, scoring will begin. Scoring is done by comparing each set of neighbors seated at your side of the table, including the sets of neighbors between you and your opponents. In this situation, in a 3-player game, the Old Timer, the card that I have played on the left, will be compared to the Ladies' Man, a card that my opponent has played, as well as the Gold Digger, which is another card that I have played. To score a set of neighbors, you count their common conversation topics. In this case, the Old Timer can talk about the weather. The Gold Digger can also talk about the weather. In this case, this pairing will be worth 1 point. Any abilities that cards might have will alter this number. In this case, the Gold Digger's ability is that if she is seated next to a yellow male, double her point value. So to score the Gold Digger with the Old Timer will be worth 2 points. Similarly, the Gold Digger and the Pastor both can talk about the weather. Since the Gold Digger is seated next to a yellow male, in this case the Pastor and the Old Timer are both male, you would double her points again. As a result, playing the Gold Digger in this configuration will get me 4 points at the end of the round. The scoring process is repeated for each of your 3 guests seated on your side of the table. The outer guests on your side of the table will be compared with your opponent's outer guests. If a card is flipped face down over the course of play, no comparison is made to this seat. In this case, the Gold Digger would only be compared to the Old Timer. After scoring is completed, all of the used cards and those that were not picked in the previous round of drafting will be collected, shuffled, and dealt out again. However, the last card that was not used to play in the previous round remains in each player's hands. This process is repeated for 2 rounds. At the end of the 3rd round, the person with the most round wins the game. Thank you for taking the time to watch this video, and I hope you enjoy my game.